a meaningless game for the playoffs in round one between the Cavs and Celtics may end up deciding the Cavaliers' fate. Because in that game, which was a physical game, it was a lot of cheap shots that took place. Kelly Olynyk, though, he made his mark on the game early in the first quarter when he locked up with Kevin Love's arm. Kevin Love did sort of do so prior, but he did not pull on his arm, which Kelly Olynyk did. He stated he pulled down on his arm, which indeed did dislocate Kevin Love's shoulder. And the Cavaliers have officially announced he will be out for the second round. And the Cavaliers' most likely second round opponent will be the Chicago Bulls. And not to mention, let's not forget in that same game, J.R. Smith smacked Jay Crowder in the face. He'll be out for 2 games in that series between the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers that's most likely to take place in the second round. So just like that, the Cavaliers will have no Kevin Love for the whole series against Chicago, and J.R. Smith will miss the first 2 games against Chicago. Do you have the Cavs penciled in still in the NBA Finals? Because honestly, I don't. Back to the Best Damn Sports Blog. Back again, it's time to talk NBA playoff with you guys, specifically this Cavaliers and Celtics series that ended in a sweep. Cavaliers swept the Celtics easily, beat them 4-0, but it did not end without controversy. J.R. Smith smacked Jay Crowder. Kelly Olynyk dislocated Kevin Love's shoulder, whether it was intentional or not. It took place, and now Kevin Love will be out for the whole second round at least. That's what the Cavaliers have officially announced. And the Cavaliers, man, they look like a team that are going to the finals, that looked as dominant as ever against, of course, the Celtics. I mean, you can't put too much stock in that, but how they ended the season on that roll, it just seemed like this Cavaliers team was destined. And now you got Atlanta. Now they're 2-2 with the Brooklyn Nets in their series. Can you really take them serious? I mean, I was all in on the Hawks during the regular season as well, but when I look how they played against Brooklyn, honestly, I think the Wizards can beat them in the second round, and we possibly could see Washington in the Eastern Conference Finals. The truth. Possibly with a meeting against LeBron, maybe. But with this Kevin Love injury and J.R. Smith's suspension for smacking Jay Crowder, I don't know, man. This Bulls team, although they are looking shaky against the Bucks, but the Bucks, they have a lot of talent. They have a good defense. I don't overlook Milwaukee. So when I think about this Cavaliers and Bulls series next round without Kevin Love, it's going to be tough for the Cavaliers. I think the first 2 games in that series will be pivotal. If the Cavaliers end up dropping one of those 2 games, I think they go on to lose this series. That's my personal opinion. Now, I'll give you stats to possibly support the Cavaliers. It depends on how you look at it, because LeBron, we're going to have to see another LeBron if the Cavaliers are to get past the Chicago Bulls. But this season, with Kevin Love off the floor, LeBron has averaged 33.6 points per game per 40 minutes compared to just 25.8 per 40 minutes with Love on the floor. His usage rate without Kevin Love is 40%. That would be an NBA record over a full season. With Love on the court, it's just 29.3. So LeBron, he comes to play when Love isn't on the floor. Now the Cavaliers are 3-4 so far this season without Kevin Love. But LeBron, he's been down this road before in 2002. Let's not forget the Miami Heat had to go through most of the series against the Pacers in the Eastern Conference semifinals. They got the job done then. But this is a different team. And this Bulls team is different than that Pacers team. Yes, Derrick Rose is still not 100%. He just shot 5 for 20 today, 0-7 from 3, as the Bucks were able to steal another game in Chicago this time. And now that is a 3-2 series headed back to Milwaukee for Game 6. So Chicago isn't necessarily through. But I believe they'll find a way. And just looking ahead, no J.R. Smith for 2 games is pivotal. But I will say this about the Cavaliers, and I want to speak on one man who has a chance to really cement his name as one of the great players in the NBA today, and that is Kyrie Irving. This is his chance to have his coming out party with Kevin Love missing. His first playoff appearance as well. Kyrie Irving can really do something special. We've seen him drop 55 and 57 this season. So we know Kyrie is capable. He's just going to have to prove it in the biggest moment on the biggest stage and probably the biggest games of his NBA career, definitely in the next round against the Chicago Bulls. But the last thing I want to ask about this Kevin Love injury is I wonder how this will affect his future in Cleveland. If this will make him more prone to stay or leave. We won't find that out until the summer, of course. But this upcoming series between the Bulls and the Cavaliers is bound to be a classic even though Kevin Love is gone. The Cavaliers, they have good enough replacements to get past. They have the best player in the world in LeBron James. Kyrie Irving, who's probably a top 10 scorer in the league and borderline top 10 player in all of the league. They are more than capable. James Jones, although he's a terrible defender, he's shown he can hit three-pointers. Iman Shumpert can play good defense. But like I stated earlier, I think it will come down to these first two games of the series between the Cavs and Bulls. If the Cavaliers are unable to win both games at home, I think that changes the complexion of the series. And the Chicago Bulls will win the next two games at the United Center and take a commanding 3-1 lead. Cavaliers will fight back to a 3-2 series, but it just won't be enough. Chicago wins it in 6. It will come down to these first two games without Kevin Love and not to mention J.R. Smith. So Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, those will be the two most important games of their seasons, I believe. Game 1 and Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals.